I'm Jeff Biggs, and not only did the Cowboys have 5 touchdowns, they had 5 sacks.
Yeah, down a million offensive linemen. The Cowboys were able to figure out how to win today. It's a big deal. They needed it.
Glenn Stretch Smith, 2-2-1, a 500 football team. They got the arrow going the right way.
How about them Cowboys? It's the Cowboys Squad. Everything Dallas Cowboys every week. Covering all the big hits and game-changing plays from America's team the way only the Locked On Podcast Network can. Get ready and squad up. It's the Cowboys Squad Show, starting now.
It's great to be with you after the Cowboys won a big win today on the road over the Jets. Welcome to the Cowboys Squad Show as the Cowboys respond with the route on the road, their first road win of the season. It is great to be back with you today for another edition of the Cowboys Squad Show. This episode is brought to you by Mazda. Like our players, we sweat every detail because when you make every move count, pulling off the unexpected is only the beginning. Stay tuned later for highlights in this week's Moving the Game Forward. Mazda, move and be moved. Well, we're ready to move on this show. It is a pleasure to be joined by Iisha Morrison, 2 eyes, not one, but 2, and the one and only former Cowboys coach, Glenn Stretch Smith. A lot to get to over the next hour. What we want to hear from you via the comment crew. Want to get your thoughts. I have to say, right out of the gate, pleasantly surprised with this performance today across the board. Total team win, despite the injuries and everything else. I think the two big kind of questions coming into this game were, how would the Cowboys respond on the road against a bad team after a disappointing tie on Sunday night? And would we see any improvement at all from the defense? And I think we can say a yes to that, and a very impressive response, the way that they handled their business.
Yeah, I mean, I like that they went out and won a football game, not relying on the kicker to have to hammer it in there to get the win or the tie. I mean, it was good to enjoy a football game. And Iisha with 2 eyes, thanks for letting it marinate a little bit right there before either one of us said anything.
Yeah, man. I mean, coming into this game, the Cowboys had four starting offensive linemen down this game. Tyler Smith showed up on the injury report later in the week. Obviously, they've been dealing with injuries on the interior. Tyler Guyton still in concussion protocol. So, I mean, I think a lot of people are going to look at this game and say, oh, it's just the Jets. The Jets defensive line is not nothing to snub at. I mean, even so, the guys they have on the back end. So for Dallas to be able to come out and move the ball effectively the way they did is impressive. And I think a lot of credit goes to Brian Schottenheimer, Clayton Adams, who is the new OC, coordinator type person for the team. What they were able to get out of this offensive line, despite being down that many starters, it takes scheme. I say it all the time. Sometimes your clipboard warriors are going to have to come out, and they did today. So I want to make sure that we credit this coaching staff and their adjustments, even Eberflus and some of the things he decided that were a little bit different than what he normally does today. They felt the moment and they came out and executed.
Yeah, no question about it. You got a quarterback who's playing as good as anybody in the league.
Talk about it.
You need it not to get him hit, not to get him, knocked around. He took a few shots, but I thought the play calling, like you mentioned, was really well. They let him boot. They let him do some things to kind of keep Dak on the move. I got to give Jaden Blue credit. I mean, he knew early in the game when they put him in, he was going to have to pick up a possible blitz to the safety. I loved it. He reached up, grabbed his chin strap, yanked it in, and stepped up and picked him up. And so the key right now is to keeping this quarterback healthy. And you mentioned it, Iisha, great job by the offensive line, by the offensive line coaches, by really everybody. I'm so glad everybody talks about how boring preseason football is. Let me tell you something. These guys benefited big time from preseason football because they were able to get in the game and not be awed by the speed of the game. And so that's a good thing. I think you see George Pickens continue to say, you know what, in tight situations, I want the football. I can make the play for you. Javonte Williams, a big-time back. Ferguson's tough. I mean, they really played about again, you got to have to go score 30 with this defense to win, and we'll talk about how the defense did, and you got to give them some credit. But certainly offensively, what you saw out of this team was ability to convert on third downs and some critical third down situations, and then when they got the ball in the red zone, they stuck it in the end zone.
Yeah, I mean, and Coach, you made a fantastic point about preseason and the value of preseason and how it can help, how it has helped this offensive line with those guys, coming in and not being afraid of the speed of the game. I thought that was a great point by you. Another gentleman that came out and said, "Hello, my name is Ryan Flournoy, and I wear number 19." He's another guy that battled his A word off during preseason, and he made this team. He was one of the last guys to make this roster, and it was well earned. What he's able to give you on special teams, the blocking that he gives you on the outside, some of those big runs by Javonte Williams, he's the last guy out there, blocking. And for him to answer the bell today, with CeeDee Lamb being out, and have, what did he have? 114 yards. Receiving today. He had some on the ground as well. I just feel like his effort and him kind of, showing up for this offense today was huge. And I think that his role moving forward might grow because of his effort today. And I think you got to. The athleticism, the speed, they're using him on end arounds as well. He can separate. He can play through contact. This is a guy that I think needs more time. And man, he showed up for the Cowboys in a big way today.
It was the Flournoy first half. He went over 100 at halftime. Man, that was awesome. And to that point, talking about Pickens, Coach, I love the fact that Pickens was kind of quiet, didn't really do much until had that beautiful touchdown catch for his score. But he was still doing his thing, still battling, still in the game, and waiting and didn't get, even though his number wasn't called a lot in the first half, he was ready to go when it was in the second, and that's a great sign as well. That was both those guys.
Again, it's taking what the defense gives you.
Yeah.
If they give you an opportunity, you need other guys to step up. And that's what Iisha was talking about. You had other guys step up, and Brooks went down, I think, with a little bit of a stinger, maybe covering a kick or punt, and so you want to see all these guys have an opportunity to go in and contribute, because that's what it takes in a league of attrition. If you don't see that in what's going on in San Francisco, and you have guys who are contributing in opportunities where they get their number called, you got to go in and play it. It's a physical game, and guys are going to go down. And if you can go in and be effective, and I get it. You're going to get beat some, but I thought offensive line wise, that really was huge that they played together. They didn't bust anything. There was no real cut guys free on Dak, and I saw TJ Bass multiple times turning the protection one way or the other, and so having guys that are backup guys to understand what to do, how to do it, where to go, where to make an adjustment. It really is. It's refreshing to see.
Oh, yeah. And again, just credit to this coaching staff, Connor Riley and those guys and what they've been implementing. And coming into this season, I had expectations for a Clayton Adams and a Connor Riley. I thought that they were going to help your run game. We see that with Javonte Williams. I think he had the most yards he's ever had in his career today. On the ground, with I think he had one he had one touchdown rushing, one receiving, 16 carries for 135 yards. on the ground today. Just the efficiency that you're getting there. And to your point, Coach, it's an all-around effort. It's not just, the offensive line, the tight ends, and what they were able to do in the blocking game. Hunter Lipke with some of his lead blocks really opened up some lanes for Javonte Williams. And then also, too, you see the receivers out there. Ryan Flanoy, I give Tolbert some crap about some of his physicality sometimes, but he was out there blocking as well. Some of the best teams in NFL, they have receivers that block. They have receivers that block as well. And so I think that collective effort is something that, we haven't seen in past years with the Cowboys. So to see everybody else contributing, like Coach was saying, was a big reason why the Cowboys were able to get this win today.
Can I ask you both this? I know we talked a little bit, not all the time, but we talked about the offensive line and how this line would come together before the season started, right? I mean, did we maybe kind of underestimate the depth that they have with this unit? I mean,
I didn't.
4 guys, 4 starters out, and they played great.
I mean, I didn't.
I think everybody understands that this is a deep team along the offensive line. I think before we even got out of camp, we were like, hey, is there a possibility we could trade? And I'm sure there were some calls made, trade some of these guys that may not have a chance to play because they're just depth guys. Well, good for them for not taking the bait and hanging on to guys that can play. I mean, there's nothing like being able to get in the game and being confident in knowing that it's not too big for you. And the only way to do that is to give them ample opportunity. So that's exactly what you saw them do in the preseason, was give those guys ample opportunity. And now you're benefiting what was, I feel like, the results of a 3-game preseason that everybody was like, yeah, can we get out of this preseason? Can we get on to regular season football? Well, there are some guys that benefited from that. Iisha talked about the receiver. I'm going to say all of those offensive linemen benefited from the opportunity to go against somebody else other than the guy that you go against every day at practice.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And obviously, you just mentioned, Jeff, what were our expectations for the offensive line and the depth. I mean, to Coach's point, they did trade someone. Like, Nate Thomas played so well through the preseason that Dallas didn't think that they should hold on to their 4th-round pick, Awesome Richards, and they sent him to the Saints. That's how much depth you had, is that you were able to get rid of a guy. And the way that Nate Thomas played, I mean, we'll definitely have to take a look at the film, but I'm not sure Nate Thomas is someone that couldn't start somewhere. And we've heard Stephen Jones. I don't know if you guys listen, but we've heard Stephen Jones and Jerry Jones on the radio. We've heard them mention Nate Thomas in reference to starting him if they feel like they have to. If they feel like Guyton or Steele are not getting it done, they have that much confidence in this player that they believe that he can start. And he came out today and played very well. Obviously, we'll look at the tape, but from what we saw, it was good on his end as well. So this is not something we take lightly, and I really don't want to hear nobody tell me that it's just the Jets. When teams have 4 offensive linemen hurt, they typically do not work well as a unit. So this is not normal, and I don't want anyone to try to discredit what this offense was able to do today and moving the ball as efficiently as they did, even though the Jets defense, I mean, they're one of the best rushing defense in the NFL, and you routed them on the ground today.
Again, I agree with what you're saying. NFL, period. If you're in the NFL, you are a good football player.
I agree.
Are there some guys that don't play to the level that they need to play to? Absolutely, maybe there are. But I'm like you. I mean, if you go on and you start style pointing wins and losses in the NFL, you're wrong. This team needed to go into New York with backup players, and they needed to win this football game in order to keep a position and keep everything rolling in the right direction. And you know what? It felt like it was watching it, it really felt like this was a business trip for a football team that went in there and they took care of business, and they did what they needed to do. We know they're good on offense. They need to score 30. You got to score 30 every week right now. And yeah, did they get some help on the defensive side? Sure they did. Did they get some sacks? Absolutely they did. But they needed to go in there and score 30 points. And it felt like a very business-like. I mean, I didn't see a lot of celebrating. I didn't see a lot of yucking it up. I felt like it was a football team that went in there and accomplished what they wanted to do, which was get a win, get themselves to 2-2-1, and really be right where they need to be to try to. Now Philadelphia's lost now, and so anything
Chargers just scored.
But I'm like you, Iisha. If you take away from the fact that what the other team's helmet said on it, you're dead wrong.
No, I agree. I mean, looking at the Jets, I mean, coming into this game, you look at the guys that they have on the back end, you look at some of the gentlemen. Now, they did have some guys missing on the defensive line, but that's still a good defensive line.
Yep.
I'm sorry. And they're led by, and even though Aaron Glenn is, having some of his struggles, this is a defensive coach, and that's the side of the ball that they work on. But Miami didn't look like that against them last week. So I don't really want to hear it. I don't. The Cowboys were down 1 million starters and were able to come in. And I think that's a good point that you make, Coach. It did feel like there was urgency, and they knew what time it was. They knew that they needed to go out here and get this win today and put themselves in position to go up against the Panthers next week. Harder part of the schedule is going to be coming in a little bit later. So they had to go in there and do it. And I think this is a very confidence building win as well for this team.
Definitely definitely a step forward for the defense for sure. We'll talk more about that in a bit. When we come back, you know what I really liked about the offense today? I'll tell you what it is, and I'll see if you agree with me. I mean, a lot of great things. You already hit on a couple of them, but one thing that really kind of impressed me, and we'll do that when we come back. Just getting started on this Sunday. Cowboys rout the Jets on the road. This is the Cowboys Squad Show. I want to talk to you about Square, all right, and what they're doing at Square. This episode is brought to you by Square. Your favorite neighborhood sports run on Square. There are certain businesses that make the neighborhood, right? These are the places that become an extension of home, whether it's the sports bar dedicated to your team's fan base, the spot with the best wings in town for game day, or that beloved local chain that's been noted in your community for years. These businesses are what bring people together. And when neighborhood businesses thrive, the whole neighborhood thrives, all right? So sports is something that really brings neighborhoods together, whether it's gathering for game day rituals, celebrating with the best wings, or just, again, that place where being a part of a fan base, that's the place that you call home. So Square is a proud partner of more than 4 million neighborhood businesses around the world. And you can go to square.com/go/LockedOnNFL to learn more. But before you do, go support your favorite neighborhood spot. You'll be happy you did. Square. See you in the neighborhood. All right, we are back, the Cowboys Squad Show, talking about the Cowboys win today over the Jets on the road. Just a great win to bounce back after a tough Sunday night against the Pack. So what I really liked about the offense today, what really impressed me, that kind of was a step forward to me, was the way that they finished the first half. Okay, it was 10-3 at that point, right? And they go on a 7-play, 91-yard drive. Javonte Williams getting the touchdown pass. Flournoy went over 100. 17-3. They got the ball back, right? And 2 plays, 67 yards, the big 66-yard run for Javonte Williams, and then another touchdown pass. So they scored those 2 quick touchdowns at the end of the first half. And again, that long drive coming pretty much out of their own end zone to end the half the way that they did, knowing that they were going to get the ball back. It was just really impressive the way that they were just efficient and smooth. And again, with the different O-line, I mean, just very impressive to me.
Yeah, that's something that what do y'all call that, coach? The middleweight trying to win it. You know what I'm saying? I gave Brian Scheinheimer some crap about deferring, but I see what he's trying to do. He's trying to make sure that these guys have some momentum going into the half, and then obviously trying to get the ball back at the half. Now they haven't got the come out after the half and figure that part out. But this last 2 weeks, you have seen them utilize hurry up, utilize tempo. I think Dak Prescott does a fantastic job with dictating tempo in those situations. And to your point, yeah, everyone thinks they just being conservative running the ball, and Javonte Williams says, "Oh, there's the crib. I'm taking it there." So I think that's an important element of the game, and that's something that the Cowboys have lacked for a while. Even last year, years before, is winning the middle eight. Mike McCarthy talked about it, but they can never really get it in sync. I think it's very healthy for them to be figuring it out at this point in the season, and hopefully they can benefit, on the other side of the half in upcoming weeks. What you got, Coach?
Well, what I guess my initial thought is, and I'm going to go back to what you said in the first segment, was you've given a lot of credit to Ryan Flournoy, and he gets a lot of credit. When you take what the defense gives you, you really become a good offense. If they're going to play too high, cover two safeties, and they're going to play them 18 yards back, and they're going to say, hey, we're going to keep everything in front of us, and you get an opportunity to hammer the football in there and run the football, that's exactly what you do. And then the safety takes a bad angle because guess what? He's not used to playing at 18. He's used to playing at about 14. Well, all of a sudden, he comes up to support the run. He didn't take a great angle. Uh-oh. Now you make him miss a little bit, and you're off to the races.
Mm-hmm.
Making a safety miss is, I feel like, something that this offense has been missing for a while. When the running back can make the safety miss in the hole, that's what you want. That's exactly, because that's the guy you can't account for. From a number standpoint, that's a guy you can't account for. So they're always going to have one more than you do because of the quarterback. I'm not trying to talk down to anybody, but because of the quarterback, they've got one more to come at you defensively than you have. So if you can make and you get yourself in position as a running back, that's what made Emmett great. The safety would miss, and he'd miss all the time at about 4 or 5 yards because they knew we were running the football. He'd still miss. When you can make the safety miss, that's big. The key, though, is taking what the defense gives you. Even in the man coverage shot to Pickens. Hey, if they're going to play out there man coverage all the time, guess what? At some point, Pickens is going to get even, and guess what? He's going to be leaving, and the quarterback be heaving, and then that's exactly how you get other big plays. And so that's what you want to do. You want to get to where offensively you're taking what they give you and you're dictating the football game.
And I think that to your point, Coach, I think that has a lot to do with the play caller and the quarterback. I think the quarterback has a lot of control over what's going on, and you see him, and I know you see it on film. You see him checking into these plays. You see him setting his protections. You see him the play to Flournoy on the outside along the sideline. He was double covered. He adjusts to the ball. That's a free play. Quarterback is quarterbacking too, and I think that says a lot to your point, Coach, about them taking what the defense is giving them. It takes a lot of trust from the play caller for the quarterback and the quarterback to do it. Also, too, you mentioned teams playing too high. I mean, a lot of that has to do with the threat of the deep play. Dallas has not threatened down the ball for some years now, and down the field for some years now. You saw a lot of teams playing you close to the line of scrimmage, playing up close. They really keeping a lid on it. And with a guy like Pickens, I mean, people are going to honor that. And if I'm not mistaken, Pickens has seen more too high than any other receiver in the game. Like, this is something that people know about him. So I think you're also, to your point, you take what the defense gives you, but you have the players to dictate defense as well, and dictate how people decide to play you. So taking advantage of it, like you said, Coach, is what you're supposed to be doing. So, yeah, I mean, the explosive plays matter so much. Dallas has lacked that for a while. And when you can have explosive plays, whether it's on the ground, whether it's through the air, then defenses are going to have to play on their heels. And I think we got to see some of that today.
What'd you say that coverage was? They were playing Iisha?
I said too high. You said they were playing too high.
That's exactly what I said when I went and priced that new Tahoe. That's too high. That's too high. But you got to run people
on fire.
when
You're
people
sick.
are playing those. When people play that coverage, you have to be able to run them out of
The
that.
ball.
You have to get them to bring that safety in the box. Then guess what? Then when they do that, then offensively, you take what they give you. So you're giving credit around to everybody, and that's who should get the credit. Because guess what? When they go in Wednesday and they get the game plan, guys are showing them, hey, here's what they're going to do. Here's what we want to do. Here's what we want our adjustments to be. The quarterback's dialed in. The receivers are dialed in. The backup offensive linemen are dialed in. And that's why this team right now, I mean, they are getting it done offensively. We have hammered away at this defense, and it was bad. But I'm going to tell you, offensively, we haven't given them near enough credit. And certainly I haven't given the quarterback enough credit. I haven't given the head coach enough credit, because they have absolutely done a great job with continuing to stay focused and taking what the defense gives you.
Mm-hmm.
Can I give a little more credit real quick? There were a couple plays as well. I thought in addition to the big runs and the big plays, Javonte Williams had a great third down run. And also there was
on that third down and one, that might have been the greatest 1 yard run I've ever seen. He made like 7 guys miss.
Yep. And then Dak on third down with the blitz got that real quick throw to keep the drive going for a first down on third down.
To Pickens?
That was just bang. That was awesome.
Yeah, he's been great against the blitz this year. And then again, shout out to the play caller for realizing, hey, my quarterback's really good against play action. Maybe we should do it more. Didn't understand why you didn't see it. I think the coach made a really good point about the too high. Is, man, listen, either you're gonna have to break it, running the ball like you said, coach, or you gotta throw it over the top for them to honor it. And so for Dallas to be able to, they weren't able to run the ball last year against even light boxes. So this is huge for them to start getting that respect. It's on tape, so people will honor it. So hopefully we'll see, because people are going to have to make business decisions, Coach. I mean, if they decide to bring that safety down, then you make them pay down the field. So it's give and take. It's give and take.
And you don't see a whole lot of it. The other reason you don't see a whole lot of it against the Cowboys is because Ferguson is really good at getting through the middle and understanding that. And Dak has a great confidence in knowing if the safety widens, then that throws in the hole. You saw him take that the first drive. They just barely missed it on that very first drive that the Cowboys had. They missed a seam in there to Ferguson. So, you have to get them. You have to offensively. The key to being successful offensively is to making defenses do what you want them to do. And the way you do that is you take what they give you. If they're going to give you certain things, you take them. And guess what? A lot of times that requires patience. You have to have patience in taking because a lot of times they'll say, well, we'll give you that 5-yard option throw to the tight end. We'll give you that 5-yard boot flat to the tight end. Well, we'll give you that 5-yard dump. We count on you to make a mistake offensively. You get a penalty, or you hold, or you fumble the football, or you throw it on the ground, or whatever the scenario is. Right now, none of that's bothering the Cowboys. They just keep taking what the defense gives them, and then they get that opportunity for that big play, and those big plays, when they're there, right now the Cowboys are cashing in.
Well, it's awesome that you brought up the patience portion of it, Coach, because I think that's we see some of these long, sustained drives from the Cowboys. I think they had another 90-yard drive today. That a lot of that is trusting the quarterback to be good-tempered, and that's what defenses are asking you to do now. And we saw an uptick in too high last year because people are counting on you. Why you keep laughing? What you want me to call it?
No, I think it's great. Wait a minute. Don't take your ball and go home. I'm laughing because I like it.
I'm like, what you want me to say?
That's a good
nah,
thing.
I'm like, is there a coachy way? Is there a coachy way I'm supposed to be saying it?
I mean, I guess I could sit here and pout and pour peanuts in a Dr. Pepper or scowl or whatever. I'm laughing because I kind of like it.
Yeah, but we saw an uptick in too high safety last year, because teams just are betting on you making a mistake, and most teams will, and the Cowboys just are able to overcome it. They were in 2nd and 10 a lot more than what I liked today. That Jets defensive line was able to crash at the line of scrimmage and to get some plays at the line of scrimmage, a lot of like horizontal football at certain points, but they were able to still convert 3rd downs in this game that I thought were huge. So I mean, it's just nice to have an offense that is, It's modern, but it's also very much so honed in on old school football, which is, like Coach said, take what the defense gives you and running the ball. And that's nice.
Well, you want to talk about old school football? How many times they run 2 backs today? I mean, Lipke in the backfield. The Jets ran some 2 backs. Yeah, and you can say, well, and a lot of people, I hear people say, well, that's this, that's. Ain't nothing in football that nobody hadn't discovered. It's just what are you comfortable with and what are you comfortable putting your players in? And good for the Cowboys having confidence in Hunter Lipke to put him in the game and knowing, hey, we can run some lead, we can run some crack, we can do a lot of different things out of 2-back offenses. And I guarantee if you put – I haven't looked at it yet, but I'll promise you if you put just what they did out of 2 backs – if you just combine those 6 or 8 snaps, I guarantee it was better than 5 yards a snap. Patience in doing those kind of things. But I don't have any of that. That's how come out. If they don't call it catching, I ain't going fishing. To hell with that. I ain't got no patience.
I'm screaming.
Well, the Cowboys scored on 4 of their 5 drives in the first half. And a quick comment from Spider-Man. He says, Dallas is not taking what the defense gives them. They are taking what the offense wants. And they're doing it. They did it today. No CeeDee Lamb, no Kevontae Turpin on top of that. So,
yeah, no, it was huge.
Very nicely.
Yeah, we saw a good return from Jadon Blue in the absence of Kevontae Turpin. He had a 32-yard return. Jalen Cropper stepped in. Turpin, I think Ryan Flanoy really filled that void with some of the stuff that Turpin has been doing offensively. Like they used Flanoy on the end around, was able to get a first down from that. That's something that they've been trying to do. So, I thought that Dallas could manage without Kevontae Turpin for a couple of games. I felt like they could. I said that on air this week, and they were able to do it.
All right. Okay, when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about the defense. Did the defense deliver, and what did you guys think of the improvement that we saw today? We'll get into that when we come back. Cowboys over the Jets, 37-22, their first road win of the season. This is the Cowboys Squad Show. Time to talk, though, right now about Mazda, because this episode is brought to you by Mazda's Moving the Game Forward. For those who believe it's not just about playing the game, it's about redefining it. There are moments that do more than put points on the board. They move crowds, they move culture, and they keep moving the game forward. And I think without a doubt, the offense moved the game forward today for the Cowboys. Another 4 TD game for Dak Prescott. We talked about Flournoy, Kevontae Williams. I mean, just a great win. 37 points. The coach has been saying all season long they got to score 30. They scored 40 on Sunday night, 37 today. So the offense is doing their part. The defense better today, and the Cowboys get their first road win of the season. So when you follow what moves you, the unexpected is only the beginning. And just like there's more to every highlight, there's more to a Mazda vehicle. Mazda, move and be moved. All right, let's bring everybody back. There we go. Okay, Cowboys Squad Show. Cowboys over the Jets, 37-22. All right, coming into the game today, the defense had 5 sacks. They doubled that today with 5 more. They now have 10. We've talked all season long about the defense needing to improve. Felt like the D line, something Iisha you've hit on from the beginning, much better today, much more pressure today. Obviously, the 5 sacks were huge, but overall, what I guess the only nitpick would be the 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. But overall, what did you see today from the defense, and did they improve to both of you?
I mean, coming into this game, when you look at the Jets' offensive line, what I saw from them even in previous weeks is that in run blocking, they are better. Obviously, they're one of the more efficient running teams in NFL. That has a lot to do with the quarterback. But in pass blocking, they struggled, and they struggled where they specifically struggled with stunts, twists, counters, blitz pickups, things like that. And those were some of the little wrinkles that we saw from Eberflus today. Saw him bring a couple of blitzes with Maris Leofow. They got there a couple of times, and then also too, he just decided to he was really forcing the issue with doing some of those twists with those guys. Dante Fowler had 5 QB hits today. I felt like he jumped off the screen more than I've seen him all season. And the interior push was big as well. Also, Diggy Zua and Kenny Clark had a good game as well. I just felt like the speed overall was a little bit better from them. And don't get it twisted. Coming into this game, you're going up against a Breece Hall who's efficient on the ground, and also too, a Justin Fields. Rush lane integrity and being able to be sound was important this game. I didn't like some of the interior runs that they got up the middle through this game. Didn't like that. Didn't know what was going on. We'll see in the film. But overall, the pressure that they got really affected the quarterback, but it wasn't just the pressure, it was their ability to contain him. I thought was impressive, and it's not something to snuff at. What you got, Coach?
The thing that really kind of, the only way in my mind they were really getting creased was with that zone read look. I'm a little concerned about that, but I also realize, I mean, Justin Fields is really dangerous with the football in his hand, and so it was almost like they were saying, hey, once again, we'll give you this 12 or 15-yard hit inside. We're not going to let Justin Fields pull it and take it 30. We're not going to let him pull it and take it 40. And so that's a really, to me, that's a step in the right direction. The giant step in the right direction was that finally they got their defensive backs up in the face of some guys, and they got in there to where they were rerouting guys. Mm-hmm. Finally, they were played with better leverage. They understood the leverage game so much better than what they did, let's say, a week ago when they were playing Green Bay and still doing some really, really just crap. I mean, I don't even want to get started because you can't go back and keep saying, well, that was so bad. They've made some adjustments, and I have to give them credit. They were playing with better leverage, and they were doing some better things. I liked, and I do like, continuing to roll defensive linemen in the football game. I think when you have an ability, and you can say, well, they're not very good, and they're not this, and they're not the, hey, when you have fresh guys keep coming into the football game, and you get them offensively into a place where they've got to throw the football, you can just pin your ears back and go get them. And so that's a good thing. The key was what they did on the back end and how they were able to at least adjust and play with better leverage. And that's what you want to see. You wanted to see them at least take a step in the right direction, and they did that. And I thought that helped the pass rush a lot. And you can say, well, Justin Fields holds the ball. Hey, I don't want to hear any of that either. I want to hear, what, they did what they needed to do in this football game, which was get your motor cranked up front. They ran some of those big looping stunts and were able to get there. And the reason they were able to get there
coverage on the back end.
Coverage was decent.
Yep. Talk about it, Coach. I mean, and I felt like so sounds like Malik Hooker has been dealing with a ligament issue in his toe for quite some time. Wanye Thomas got the start today. And we saw him come up and tackle and do some things in the run game as well. And then I'm sure we'll see on film how he did in coverage. But I felt like the corners just trusted the safeties a little bit more today in some of the decisions they made. I thought that the cornerbacks that you have out there right now is probably your best unit. Trayvon Diggs, Reddy Stewart in the slot. I mean, we give the Cowboys a lot of crap, but Eberflus, Reddy Stewart is a Schottenheimer is an Eberflus guy. They brought him in, and him being able to man that nickel spot really has freed up the fact that you're able now to play Deron Bland on the outside. Because if not, then I think that there might have been some weird stuff going on if you did not want to give up Deron Bland not playing in the slot. So I think that matters in the conversation. But yeah, I felt like that unit played better today. Maris Leofow had the big punch out. That was something I saw.
That was a big play.
That really flipped the game. You know, that turnover. The Jets were driving at that point, and for him to punch that ball out there made a difference in the game. Cowboys were able to score off of that. Coming into this game, when you looked at the Jets, they had 7 turnovers. 5 of them were fumbles. 3 of them were from Justin Fields. I thought that they would put the ball on the ground, and they did. And Maris Leofow was the guy that I thought was going to do it. So I felt like Coach Sanborn went out with a concussion during this game. Shamar,
and that's when Leofow went in, right?
Yeah, Leofow and Shamar James. Shamar James out of Florida got a little bit more burn, and I think they're being a little bit more speed. Again, Coach, I know they're going to make mistakes. They're young linebackers. They're still learning, but they're getting thrown into the fire. And I think that the speed on the second level helped a little. Is going to help. Is going to help. Yeah, I think that's going to help.
Well,
go ahead, Coach.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry. I thought you would.
No. I want to hear from you on.
No, you make good points on the young guys, because here's when a lot of times coaches, and I've been as guilty as this as anybody, you're comfortable with certain guys being in the game because you know they're not going to make the big mistake. But the problem is you're holding back the guys who are better than the guys you're playing, and they just need to get that. They just need to get that opportunity. Well, guess what? When you're and you never want to see a guy go down with injury, but when you're forced to put the guys in there, then guess what? All of a sudden you're spoon feeding those guys. You're not trying to throw a big whole meal at them. You're just saying, hey, make sure you do this. Make sure you play with this great leverage. Make sure you wrong shoulder that. Make sure we're here. And so when you're forced to almost have to spoon feed younger players, eventually they'll get caught up to speed. Is it painful at times? Is it aggravating at times? It is. But the upside is with James. It's going to be now with, DeMarvion can't get back here soon enough. And then if you can get, and I hear what you're saying about Stewart, but he's so little. And the problem with that is, and it was the same thing with Jordan Lewis, is then when they want to run the football at you, that guy kind of has to bow up and be a hell of a tackler. Well, now if you get Ravel back in there, now guess what? You got longer, bigger guys, and so that'll give you an opportunity to kind of shore that up a little bit. So I just think that what they did defensively was maybe as a staff, they had to become uncomfortable with a few things that they were having to do. And sometimes having to do that helps you break out of what is a little bit of a mind, a mind fog that you can start to, create and think of some other ways to get some other guys into the football game.
Yeah, the results are on tape. And if you're a coach and you're looking at tape and you just denying tape, I don't trust you. So with you talked about injury, Coach, another guy that was able to get more time today, James Houston. To me, arguably, probably maybe your best pass rusher on the team right now, next to Fowler. He was able to get more reps with the absence of Marshawn Nealon. We know what Marshawn Nealon gives you in the run game. However, he is still developing more pass rush ability. So I think with the uptick in reps, James Houston took advantage of that today. 1.5 sacks. He's gonna be sick that he has to share that one with Sam Williams. But he's a guy that was able to benefit from someone going down, and he came out and showed why he needs more snaps in the first place.
Yeah, and you need Sam Williams. You know what I mean? I mean,
Yeah, you do.
I know obviously you'd like him to have two, but guess what? I got to kind of feed those other guys too, and I got to continue to get those guys in there because you're going to need all of that. And I mean, I hope Sam Williams can continue to grow, and I hope, I mean, obviously, those guys sometimes you know they're going to have a little problem with the run, but guess what? It's the ebbs and flows of the football game, and it's what you get versus what you give up.
Mm-hmm.
And I do like right now. You have to take this defensive effort, and you have to really, in my mind, you have to champion the defensive effort because they did better than they've done in any of including the Philadelphia game. In my mind, they played better today for 3/4 of football than I've seen them play in a while, and that's what you want to see. You want to see, hey, they're listening to the coordinator. They're listening to their position coaches because guess what? The first 4 weeks of the season, we were coming in here, and I was saying everything to keep from making a sailor blush with all that booty poop butt crap that we were seeing. But they cleaned it up.
We back to the booty poo butt.
Rudy poop butt.
Rudy poop butt.
We didn't see any of it today.
I don't want to see none of it. Please, no.
I don't want to see it either. You think it's something I enjoy? You think that aggravation is something I want?
I thought
get him out of here, man.
Solomon Thomas, the former Jet, looked good. I like the 2 4th down stops for the defense today. That was very nice.
Yeah, he's able to knife through there. Yeah.
Yeah. A couple little nitpick things. This was in the first half. The catch up the middle, I think you already referenced it, to Garrett Wilson. And then there was that one play on 3rd and 10 where Diggs gave a cushion and they were able to pick up the first down. Didn't see really any more of that the rest of the game. But kind of back to your point, Coach, what you were saying about Eberflus kind of trying to tweak it a little bit or work with what he had. Do you feel like you saw some of that today?
Well, again, and this is something that, Iisha was talking about a while ago, it's the second level. A lot of times when you see those inside cuts and those guys catching those deep end cuts, guess what? You can't let a guy behind you. So you got to have some help in front of you. So that second level guys got to get some depth in there so that that ball's got to be either driven over you or it's got to be driven into a hole. So I'm going to choose to say that what I saw today was an understanding of what the coaches are talking to these guys about, and an understanding that maybe with these second level guys, maybe they can get a little better in their drops and be more fluid with what they're trying to do.
Yeah, they can get there. Like, I think a big part of it is them being able to physically get there, but I'm not gonna go there. If we're doing nitpicking, it's close to the end of the show. Let me nitpick. Baby, these penalties.
Yes.
Listen, if I see another 12 men on the field, I'm gonna lose my damn mind.
Yeah.
Try to play some. Why you don't like when they try to play Canadian football? You think they can't doki with that CFL mentality? You know what? It reminds me of when Mike Nolan was here. Hey, Rob Ryan had tried to do that too. You're like, what the hell are you doing? I mean, and you got about 24 coaches. How hard is it to count 11 guys on the field?
My God,
11 penalties.
That is inexcusable for me. And you talk about it, Iisha. That gave him a first down early in the football game. That was a 3rd and 5, and you absolutely gave them a first down because you can't get the right personnel in the game. That's inexcusable.
Yeah, and then I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think that Jadeveon Clowney had a neutral zone infraction. Sam Williams had a offsides. They had a roughing the passer. It just, listen, I mean, and again, I understand, that they won the game and stuff, but 11 penalties for 91 yards is insane. I mean, 100 yards and penalties in any way, shape, or form is just crazy because that hitting yardage against a better offense is going to hurt you. So I'm really hoping that they're able to clean up some of these little mental errors that they're making. I understand they're on the road. I understand all that stuff, but Yeah, you can't do that against a good team. And they really gotta clean that up. They really gotta clean up the penalties because they did that all last week. Some of those Green Bay drives, Green Bay wasn't moving the ball. You
Yeah,
gave them first downs with
yeah, you're right.
penalties. So that's something they have to figure out if they want to build off of, the defensive display that they put on today. Getting better at some of these pre-snap penalties and some of these mistakes is going to help them and help them get off the field and be fresher. So that's my nitpick.
All right. When we come back, our final thoughts and our final segment. Also, got a couple of comments I want to read as well. We'll do that when we return. Cowboys over the Jets today, 37-22. This is the Cowboys Squad Show. All right, got to give it up for FanDuel and what they're doing this NFL season. It's here, and FanDuel has an offer you do not want to miss. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. Pick a bet, put down $5, and if it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Now, whether you're a casual fan or love diving into the stats, FanDuel makes the game day experience so much better. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app today and get started. All right, Cowboys Squad Show. Iisha Morrison and the coach, Glenn Stretch Smith. Cowboys over the Jets today, 37-22. Iisha, I thought of you when I saw this comment, but I think it's got to say it, got to keep it real, right? Joe Coleman says, and I want to give a shout out, Alf and Shirley. They were regulars on the Rangers postcast, so they're jumping on board, big Cowboy fans. But Joe Coleman says defense played better when number 57 went out.
Huh? What'd you say?
Defense played better when number 57 went out.
Huh? There's an echo in here. What? My apartment ain't big enough to have no echo. Nah, man. I mean, I hate to say it, but it's just that's where teams have been picking on you. They've been picking on you down the field, sure, but man, thank God the Jets can't do a screen pass because that's how Green Bay killed you last week. And I mean, again, coach, we talked about it, these young guys getting an opportunity, let them, inch closer and learn the game as they need to. But you gotta play whoever you feel like is best and is going to help your defense. And that's just how I feel about it. They need all the help they can get. They need all the help they can get.
Yes, you're gonna have to live with the growing pains a little bit. I mean, it's part of it. I mean, that's, I equate a lot of things to horse racing. I mean, experienced horses know where to go around on the track. They're not always the fastest ones, but they know where to go around. Well, guess what? The only way you get that experience is to learn where to go around. And guess what? Sometimes that horse runs way out in lane 8, lane 9. But you know what? Eventually he'll learn. And so when you have to get comfortably uncomfortable as a coach, sometimes it causes you to grow a little bit. And I'm going to give Eberflus credit because I'm going to bet you he was uncomfortable with calling some of that man coverage stuff today. But guess what? Everybody was saying, well, don't play man coverage against Justin Fields. He'll kill you if he gets loose. And you know what? He didn't get loose. And so comfortably uncomfortable sometimes is a good position to have to be in.
Well, and on the other side of the ball, talking about Dak, just his performance, again, 237, 4 TDs. I mean, he really seems, he's playing at a really, really high level. And you get the sense that he there's a sense of urgency, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. And he kind of, especially after the injury last season, like he realizes that, he's in the second half of his career. And they were talking about it a little bit during the game, but I mean, I think the motivation to win a Super Bowl is real. And it's kind of cool to see him just really commanding the offense right now, the way that he is.
Well, he got a baby. he got a house full of girls.
Yeah.
he, he got to come on with it. You get a family, and he's spoken about that. It's not only the injury, it's also his why outside of football. Like he definitely feels the urgency. But I'm gonna quote Dak Prescott because he said this when Brian Schottenheimer was hired, and as he got through, started getting the install and stuff, he said, "I'm I'm playing football. This is the way I always envisioned playing football." And I feel like when you see him play, that's what you see. You see, number one, he has the proper weapons around him, but he also has a play caller that plays to his strengths and allows him to do some of the things that he
Great
enjoys
point.
doing. And the last point I'll make is the fact that he's an older quarterback now, and I know coach knows this, is that he's seen pretty much everything that you can see in this game. So he's not phased by some of the stuff that you see. That's why it's hard to beat him against the blitz now, because he sees it. He knows what's going on. And so I think it's a mixture of all of those things. And this is the Dak Prescott that I've been waiting to see. I think we've gotten to see him in spurts, but the team that he has around him and the play caller, I think, have a lot to do in an adequate running game, which he hasn't had in years. Have a lot to do with the success you're seeing from him. I think we'll continue to see it. What you got? What you got? What you gonna say?
What the hell's wrong with being a little bit older?
Hey, nothing. My birthday in a couple weeks.
Yeah, happy birthday to you. Ain't that wrong with nothing
I
wrong
ain't
with being a little
saying
older.
get
You can't buy experience. There's no
You
buying
sure
experience. Here's what I get a feeling, and I don't go out there. The one thing I don't want to do is get in position where I'm doing anything except seeing what my eyes see and giving an opinion on that. But I'm going to say this, that it feels like Dak and Schottenheimer have a great communication, and I will be willing to bet you that Dak has a say in a lot of what they're doing offensively. And I'll be the first one to say I didn't think there was any way it would ever get to that. But the one thing I will do, and I've always done, is you have to give credit where credit is due. I've been in coaching my whole life. I know, guess what? If I'm going to get and be tough 60% of the time, I've also got to put my arm around you 40% of the time, because that's the only way it's going to work. And when you see what he's doing, I can tell you he's got a say in this offense. Here's the other thing I think that's incredible of what they're doing is think about the mentality of, and I know what Spider-Man said earlier, they're taking whatever the offense is taking. They're doing exactly what they need to do, because I'm going to think back to that tight end screen that they threw. Ooh. Here's what I love about the tight end screen is you see the big guys release. And I always used to say, from a coaching standpoint, when the big guys release, hey, just take off all you want them big guys to do is just be 18-wheelers on the freeway. Just take off running. You're not going to block a corner. He's so much better athlete than you are. You're probably not going to block a linebacker. But if I can get those 18-wheelers running down the freeway, and I can get in my Ferrari, I can get in and out of those 18-wheelers. And sometimes I got to kind of put the brakes on, and then I got to boot. That's exactly what you saw Ferguson do. He got out there, and boy, them big guys got to running, and he just was comfortable with where he was. And then he saw the line, and then he made the guy miss, and he just jogged into the end zone. Again, Dak has to get a lot of credit for that, because getting them in position to call that play where your numbers match out there and where you coach it up, there's a lot to be said for that.
It was an awesome play call, and the convoy was insane. I mean, you talk about Hunter Lipke getting out there, 19, Ryan for Illinois with probably maybe the most key block on there in that play. Yeah, I mean, I think, and to speak to what Brian Schottenheimer is trying to do with this team, I've watched a lot of Cowboys film since I started doing this job, and I have not seen them collectively block as a team this well in a minute. As far as just like all guys really putting in effort, driving, playing their assignments, and I think that shows buy-in to the system, and also too they understand they gotta, like you said, coach, the urgency with what's going on on the defensive side of the ball. And if the defense needs a little bit more time to come on with it, so you don't have to score 30 every game, then cool. That's how I feel.
That's great. Great insight by both of you. Thank you very much. Well, next week on the road at Carolina. It's a game to handle your business. Don't want to mess around. But I'll say it again, as I said at the outset. I mean, this game coming off the tough tie on Sunday. I mean, the Jets were desperate. From what I heard after that Monday night game, Aaron Glenn, I mean, tore into his team. So you're at home, you're playing the Cowboys, trying to get your first win. I mean, it would not have been a shock if the Jets played sky high, but literally the Cowboys came in, imposed their will, and just completely dominated the game. So I was pleasantly surprised. Great day for the offense. Again, 37 points. And again, it's about building and baking that defense, and we're seeing that. So,
yeah.
Good day.
I'm about to give me something to eat and put my feet up.
Right. Enjoy the second half. Coach, any final thoughts before we go?
No, I mean, it's a lot easier to do this show after a win or a tie than it is after a loss. A lot easier.
Yeah. Amen.
Well said. Got a lot of ha-ha and he on here. A lot of nice smiles, and that's a good thing.
Yeah. Well, we gonna fuss. I'm a fuss regardless.
Well, have a great week. We'll have our squad show on Wednesday. We'll do it again. We'll be with you after the game next Sunday from Carolina. And again, don't forget the daily Locked On podcast with Marcus Mosher and Landon McCool. All right, final score. Cowboys over the Jets, 37-22. Thank you to everybody for watching now and listening later. This has been the Cowboys Squad Show.